Renewing the National Security Agency's Section 702 authority became so controversial that even President Donald Trump denounced it in a tweet. Within hours, though, the White House had walked that back, and on Friday Trump signed a bill extending 702 authority through 2023. The government pledges not to abuse this power. But you can't blame Americans for worrying that their conversations might get swept up in surveillance, because it will remain difficult to confirm the government plays by its own rules. This surveillance, however, may incidentally scoop up data from Americans and U.S. permanent residents in the U.S. or abroad, none of whom the NSA may intentionally target, and all of whom retain Fourth Amendment rights against government searches. For an extended discussion of 702, see a 2014 report by the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board, an independent government office set up in 2007. The feds can't copy and paste data about you from a 702 collection into domestic law enforcement databases. But investigators can query it under limited circumstances for use in a criminal proceeding. Those enumerated exceptions include such hard-to-argue items as terrorism and human trafficking. But they also fold in the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, an exceedingly broad law that has been misused to threaten cybersecurity research and yet seems immune to serious discussions of reform. There's also the risk that police investigators may also attempt to use 702 data in parallel construction to set up legal searches that can yield findings unusable in court from the original data. The TLS encryption that secures 89% of messages to and from Gmail, according to Google statistics, leaves the metadata of senders and recipients intact, otherwise, your mail would go nowhere. Advocates of 702 renewal point to the people and processes around it. In a post on the influential Lawfare blog, former government lawyers Jack Goldsmith and Susan Hennessy nodded to support from such fellow Trump opponents as Representative Adam Schiff. Given everything Schiff has publicly said and done over the last year, he knows not only how valuable the 702 program is but also how law-constrained and carefully controlled and monitored it is. They also heralded the absence of credible allegations of political or venal use of 702 authorities. The 2014 Oversight Board report made the same point, as did another 702 backer who touted 702's multiple sources of supervision, not just the FISA court but also House and Senate Intelligence Committees and agency inspectors general. These oversight mechanisms, combined with the additional transparency measures provided in this legislation and others put in place in recent years, should give the American people a great deal of confidence, said Jamil Jaffer, head of George Mason University's National Security Institute. But those checks take place in secret and often after the fact. Those methods also have a record of taking a long time to notice or act on abuse, and those abuses may not ever be made public, said Amy Stepanovich, U.S. Policy Manager with the digital rights group Access Now. The general problem with intelligence oversight is that it operates substantially on the honor system, said Julian Sanchez, a senior fellow at the Libertarian Cato Institute. He judged them great for catching honest errors while not terribly good mechanisms for spotting deliberate abuse. Meanwhile, the Trump administration continues to hand out good reasons to suspect its intentions. Most obviously, it campaigns for responsible encryption to ease police investigations of our mobile devices while also searching and seizing more of our gadgets at U.S. borders. More from Rob. Email rob@, follow him on Twitter at @RobGuerrero. Follow News Pulse Finance on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn.